Hi students. The next difference between GIS and paper maps. A geographic information system GIS have one certain difference from the paper map. On the paper map, we have both spatial data and cartographic symbolization are melted together in a single entity. So single entity is known as a single entity. Once a data is entered in the map, it cannot be changed or it cannot be processed again. So the map is a database which the data are just a static display and formalized one. It cannot be changed based upon the client requirement. So the GIS separates the spatial data from the cartographic symbolization and insert the power of computer. The simple separation of spatial data and cartographic symbolization is the key power of GIS when compared to the maps. So we discussed a lot about the spatial data and the cartographic symbolization in the previous slides. So the symbolization is nothing but a representation of a lines, dots, or a closed boundary or an open boundary for trees, areas, roads, etc. is known as a symbolization. For example, the highways are mentioned as a thick dark line. The railway lines are represented as a double dotted line. The streams are represented in a single thin blue line. Then watershed area, lakes, sea are represented in a blue color closed boundary line. The animal range are represented as a red closed boundary line. The animals are represented as a red dashed line. The administrative area are represented in a closed circuit lines. So we are having n number of symbolization based upon the requirements. We are using this symbolizations. This chart shows the difference between the paper maps and GIS. First, in a paper maps, the data are processed and generalized data. So processed and generalized data is nothing but the data which are acquired by the surveying instruments and the readings which are taken from the instruments are processed, calculated, then the calculated data are formalized. So this formalized is nothing but calculation of elevation, angular data, then linear data. So once we got the angular data and linear data of the particular location, we are creating a static display. So the term static is nothing but permanent. So the static data is known as a permanent display. So the data which are entered in the paper maps are not changed according to the requirement of client. So in GIS we are having a raw processed data. So the raw processed data is taken by the data processing software. Then based upon the client requirement, the data can be changed in the data processing software. For example, the client may ask linear data or angular data. The software will give the data as which the client requires. Next one is a functionality of GIS. The functions of GIS describe the steps that has to be taken to implement a GIS. These steps have to be followed in order to obtain a systematic and effective system. The steps involved in GIS are data capture, data completion, then data storage, manipulation, then analysis. This picture shows a clear cut about the functionality of GIS. First one is a data acquiring and pre-processing or otherwise known as data capture. From the aerial photography, we are obtaining a photography of a certain location and we are subdividing the photography as a data layers. So the data layer consists of elevation, hydrology, transportation, geology, ownership, site data and imaginary. So these are all the common data may the client requires. The next one is database management and retrieval. Based upon the data acquired, the data are organized and sent for the spatial measurements. The spatial measurement is nothing but measurement of values in terms of linear or angular or in terms of temperature or anything. After the spatial measurement and analysis, finally the data output is sent as a graphical output and visualization.